I go to sleep dreaming of having a breakfast in the morning. I eat dinner at 6 p.m. and do not eat until 8 a.m. the next morning. Breakfast is the first thing for our body to absorb after a long period of fasting. Therefore, I want my breakfast to be nourishing. Let me share my two feelings about practical breakfast in a week. On Monday, I usually have a bunch of meal prep from the weekend, so I have a lot to choose from. One of my staples, especially for hot summer, is dressing. I have homemade tofu mayo from last week's video, so I'm gonna make a simple soba noodle salad for this morning. Cook soba noodles according to the package instructions. In the meantime, we're gonna make sauce. To the bowl, add tofu vegan mayo, shoyu koji, flaxseed oil, and canned tuna. My tofu mayo contains tofu, oil, rice vinegar, mustard, lemon juice, sugar, salt, and pepper. If you need a specific measurement, please go to my web linked in the description box below. If you are new to my channel, you might be thinking, what is shoyu koji, Miwa? I'm a self-claimer geek on the topic of gut health. I don't even know if that English makes sense to any of you, but I hope you got a glimpse of it. Anyway, shoyu koji made with the rice mold and soy sauce is a Japanese fermented food I use often as a replacement of soy sauce. Check out another video if you want to try it for yourself. Just before taking soba noodles off from the heat, make sure to save some soba water from the pot. The nutrients coming from the soba noodles, such as vitamin B, C, protein, and even some compounds which have antioxidant effects, have been dissolved into the water. It's too mottainai to discard them. Mottainai means what a waste in English, which my mom taught me all the time. After saving some water, drain and rinse under the faucet to stop the cooking process, resulting in this satisfying chewy texture. Mix into the sauce. Once it's tossed, add whatever you want. I added cucumber, tomato, shiso basil, and edamame since they are all in season right now. I sometimes add nori seaweed, tossed sesame seeds, avocado, spinach, any other leafy greens, really anything you have on hand. Just a heads up, almost all the recipes I'm showing on this channel have a breakdown recipes on my blog or on my e-cookbooks. The link is in the description box. Adjust the taste with the lemon juice and transfer to the plate. I had eggplant salad, which I have introduced multiple times on this channel. This eggplant salad is a great accompaniment with the soba salad. It's ready to be enjoyed. In Japan, we drink soba water after eating soba. If you go to soba restaurant, they will give you a small pot of soba water. We are supposed to mix leftover soba noodle dipping sauce together with the soba water. It's like an instant soup packed with umami taste. I love them because it soothes my stomach. It might be only me, but I love to sip something hot such as soup or tea even when it's really hot in summer. Japan is reopening the door for tourists. Did you know that? I don't know when exactly it's starting, but I was so excited to hear this news. If you have a chance to come to Japan, please go to the soba restaurant and try this soba water. On to Saturday, when we have a bit more time as a family, I like to try something new, and that is a baguette topped with Japanese furikake made with kombu, tomato, and walnuts. A couple weeks ago, I shared 2 vegan furikake recipes. Furikake is a rice seasoning, by the way. My husband suggested me that I can make a baguette using this furikake, so I decided to try that. Before we dive into the furikake baguette, let me show you my miso broccoli soup I made the night before as a meal prep. We're gonna need 300 grams of broccoli, equivalent to about 3.5 cups of chopped broccoli. Cut florets into small bite-sized pieces. This stem part is usually too fibrous to eat, but we're gonna use them all for this time, which makes me so happy because like I said, I don't like to waste anything. Thinly slice them as thin as possible, at least 1/4 inch, otherwise it's gonna take quite a long time to cook. The knife I'm using here is called Nakiri knife, made by 80 years old Japanese maker. If you are someone who chops lots of hard vegetable like carrots and squash, this knife will be your best friend. Now I can't live without this. If you want to try for yourself, the link is in the description box. And I explained more in a different video how to maintain the knife or all about the Japanese knife. So I hope it helps. Sliced onion, minced garlic. I use 5 cloves of garlic. It's a lot, but it's gonna give a nice kick to the end, so don't knock until you try it. Now to the pot on medium heat, add olive oil followed by garlic and onion. Let the aroma infuse for a couple of minutes. We kinda want to lightly caramelize the onion. Continue to stir and splash some water if it's needed. I did about 5 minutes or so. When the onion is nice and brown, add broccoli and koji, which is a mixture of salt, water, and rice malt, then ferment it. Again, I love to use this as a replacement for salt, but you can always swap for 1/4 teaspoon of salt. One more mix and cover it with a lid. Steam it for another 5 minutes until the broccoli is wet. Add water and soup stock powder. Cook it on low for another 7 to 10 minutes until broccoli is completely cooked. Depending on how big your broccoli is, it might take you longer. At this stage, you can also add a couple tablespoons of oats if you want a thicker consistency. For this time, I didn't add, but it came out beautifully. After 10 minutes, blend it up with the immersion blender or standing blender until it's smooth. Since we opt for a whole stem, there's a lot of fibers. I recommend to blitz up all the way through. If you want to leave it chunky, you could, but make sure to remove the outer top layer of the stem and use it only inside of it. Add soy milk, frozen edamame, and miso paste. Use any milk you have on hand. Depending on the soup stock powder you use, the sodium contents differ. Before adding miso paste, taste test and add miso paste little by little. It's always safe to undersalt in the first place. When the soup is warm, just before starting to boil, off the heat and ready to be enjoyed. Pour yourself a generous amount of this creamy green soup. I highly recommend adding freshly cracked black pepper. Feel free to sprinkle some nutritional yeast if you want. Now let's prepare a frikake baguette. After slicing the baguette, I like to toast them on the pan with a little bit of olive oil on each side. You can just use a toaster oven if that's easier for you. After both sides are nice and toasty, smother cream cheese as much as you want. Top generous amount of frikake on top. Make sure each baguette has a little bit of everything with the seasoned kombu, tomato, and walnuts. That's pretty much it. Let's give it a try.
これおいしい。食べた方がいいよ。大きい口で。硬い。美味しいよね。めっちゃ美味しくないこれ。ママと熱いかも。ちょっとだけ。美味しい。美味しい？
Anything with a cream cheese should be good, but let's not go in that direction for this time. It was really good. The savory umami taste from kombu and a hint of tartness from tomato, walnut, and cheese is of course a perfect complement to each other. It's a piece of treat in the morning. With the combination of broccoli soup, this is exactly what I want to have on winter morning, although it's super hot in here in Tokyo. If you're someone who lives in Eastern Hemisphere, you're probably definitely considering giving this a go. It was so good. These past months, I have been constantly overworking because of my passion project. I've been creating a Japanese cooking course. It's not just a cooking course, but I'll tell you more about that later in a couple of weeks. So because I love creating this course so much, with all the excitement, I tend to forget how tired I am. My kids started to sense that I'm tired and not be able to do the housework as much as I used to do. Then they started to help me. It's amazing. I used to feel guilty not doing much housework just because I am tired. And if you don't do that, my house becomes entire mess, which drives me crazy sometimes. I grew up looking at two very old-fashioned conservative Japanese parents where my dad worked and supported us financially while my mom took care of everything else regarding housework. Even though my husband is very helpful, it's my nature to feel guilty for not doing much. Recently, my husband and the kids started to help me more, and my process of thinking has changed a little bit too. If I'm drained, I can show weakness and ask for help more. I don't have to be strong, capable mom all the time. Moreover, that has contributed to creating a small, mighty family. In Japan, it's still the norm for women to do the housework more than men do. How about your country? Let me know in the comment section below. I am very curious about your culture. That's it for today, I guess. Thanks for all for watching and have a great weekend. Bye bye, またね。
これ見ないの見ちゃダメ？目隠ししたらママ、目隠ししたらあれだよ。いいよ、行くよ。目隠しするの？
今日これ食べる？
いいよ。
今日これ食べる？目隠し。
目隠し、はい、目隠しした。あ、いいよ。
いくよ、そうか。今日食べるこれ。いた。
どう？
いや、ゴー。
あー、綺麗だね。綺麗。誰がやったのこれ？すごいじゃん。ありがとう。
ねえねえ、準備やったからこれさ、後で食べてもいい？
いいよ。いいよ。ちょっとめちゃくちゃ綺麗じゃん。すごーい、めちゃくちゃ綺麗。ありがとう。